For decades, reaching 1,000 horsepower meant dealing with a multi-million-dollar, track-only machine that was barely stable enough to drive. It was a threshold reserved for the highly volatile. Then comes this anomaly. On the surface, with its classic Rosso Corso red paint, it looks like a traditional Grand Tour. But beneath that hood lies enough raw output to outperform most hypercars on the planet. Hitting 60 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds is a violent act. It requires managing a massive, highly unpredictable force of physics. The core technical challenge here isn't simply generating 1,000 horsepower. It's preventing that sheer forward thrust from ripping the tires off the rims or launching the entire chassis into the air. The source of this physics problem sits right under the hood, a twin-turbo V8 hybrid powertrain. Automakers typically design hybrid systems to maximize fuel economy. Ferrari engineered this one to deploy electric motors for instant, brutal torque. This chart shows how that synergy works. The moment you press the pedal, the electric motor's torque spikes instantly at 0 RPMs. That electric surge bridges the gap, maintaining acceleration during the exact fraction of a second it takes the twin turbos to spool up. The result is a perpetual surge of acceleration that never drops off. To keep a car safely glued to the road under that kind of constant force, you need immediate, radical aerodynamic intervention. Moving to the exterior, we run into the core rule of extreme speed. 1,000 horsepower is useless if the wheels just spin aimlessly against the asphalt. The sharp, aggressive angles shaping this body mimic a fighter jet for a specific reason. Every single curve and intake is a purpose-built survival mechanism. At high velocities, the air itself becomes a thick wall. Instead of fighting that wind resistance, these specific contours catch the airflow and redirect it, using the pressure of the wind to force the chassis down into the pavement. Down here, massive 5-spoke forged alloy wheels wrapped in wide, ultra-performance tires take all that downward aerodynamic weight and translate it into physical forward grip. But acceleration is only half the equation. You need absolute stopping power. That's why these carbon ceramic brakes dominate the wheel well. Stopping from extreme speeds generates immense heat, so this porous disc and massive caliper are engineered to dissipate that kinetic energy without failing. The exterior aerodynamics, the forged wheels, and the massive brakes function as a single, unified power management system. Together, they corral chaotic kinetic energy and turn it into usable, survivable speed. If the hardware manages the physics, how does a human interface with a machine this violent? You step into a deeply contoured, driver-focused cockpit. The heavy use of premium Alcantara and carbon fiber trim serves a dual purpose, cutting out dead weight while locking the driver physically in place against lateral forces. The entire layout pulls directly from Ferrari's motorsport roots, engineered to replicate the ergonomics of a Formula One car. The fully digital dashboard prioritizes real-time performance data, letting the driver process critical telemetry instantly. This car marks a shift away from the temperamental, difficult-to-manage supercars of the past that often struggled with heat and low-speed drivability. Hybrid technology here acts as a primary tool for absolute performance, providing a level of response that internal combustion alone cannot match. By combining aggressive aerodynamics, a Formula One interface, and a massive hybrid V8, this vehicle functions more like a high-speed physics experiment than a standard road car. Every component, from the aero to the digital interface, is calibrated to give the driver total control over extreme levels of power. The only question left is, now that this level of brutal, perfectly tamed technology exists, would you dare to drive it to its absolute limit, or keep it locked safely away in your dream garage?